All right, I'll go ahead and thank you everyone for joining the webinar. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join myself and SCORE as well. Now, as the SCORE representative noted, I'm Cassandra Harbour, former corporate quality manager and founder of CH House of Quality Solutions. I have been an active leading expert with over 15 years of experience in the quality and regulatory industry, driving initiatives such as site audit, restructuring quality management systems, ISO certifications, FT remediation plans, and everything in between. Uh, and I'm excited because what we're covering today, I'm sorry, terribly sorry. Well, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm excited here because what we're covering today is something that I have seen firsthand. Many companies have fallen short on assessments and continuous improvement. It's a lot like dieting and exercise. Once you have a strong idea of what you have a strong idea of what you should be doing, but you conjure up a ton of reasons to put it off. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough resources, not sure where to begin, and not on top of your priority list right now. Or the biggest reason that I've actually heard in my 15 plus years of driving quality and compliance in corporate America. We've always done it this way. Why change? Well, in this seminar, I'll show you how to strategize continuous improvement plans and quality assessments. Even if you have the modest resources, I'll show you that this will not be a limitation if you understand how to approach regulatory and quality strategically. So I'm going to show you how to unlimit this mindset, as the title implies, master assessment, using this unique way of demonstration in my webinar today. So you'll learn what quality really means in regulatory manufacturing, how to overcome roadblocks, which strategy tools drive continuous improvement for you, and why mastering these essential skills are very important for you. Okay. Now, first, I have a question for the audience, and the answer to this question will largely determine your success with quality assessments and continuous improvement. Okay, so the question is, what is the primary goal of quality and continuous improvement? And I'll give you a moment to share your messages in the chat. Has everyone shared their message in the chat?
I haven't seen any at this point.
Okay, okay. All right, well then we'll probably move along. All right. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, okay. So the answer to this particular poll is that the answer is actually to improve processes and meet customer regulatory requirements. Okay. Oh, sorry. And go back to one screen. All right. Now, some companies, they either misunderstand or take a reactive approach to the quality and continuous improvement that potentially leads to a limited or unstable improvements. For instance, addressing issues only when someone outside of your institution points them out is a reactionary, and it forces your whole team to be a firefighter or whack-a-mole, which is a waste of time. Uh, Doing it just for the cost savings could result in focusing on cutting corners, which inevitably puts your company at risk of compromising product safety, reliability, and business reputation. Doing the bare minimum, just to quote, check the box, potentially leads to missed opportunities for competitive advantage and lost revenue. Think Netflix versus Blockbuster. And continuous improvement isn't solely the responsibility of the quality person or department. Quality culture should be baked into your entire company, championed and supported by leadership, and incorporated into the daily work lives of all employees. Without this, it's an uphill battle. Now, when it comes to quality and regulated manufacturing, ensuring you meet quality standards for your customer and quality standards for regulatory compliance sometimes feels like walking a tightrope. Your customers' expectations are that the product should meet or exceed their needs and positively impact their lives. The regulatory body's expectations are that the products adhere to guidelines for the purpose of ensuring the safety, efficacy, and consistent performance through its entire life cycle. So balancing between the two to achieve form, fit, and function requires a holistic approach built on the foundation of good practice to achieve both compliance and business success. Good practice, also known as GXP, refers to a set of quality guidelines and regulations whose purpose is to ensure products meet regulatory standards and are safe and effective from R&D to manufacturing and distribution. With a GXP set, you have to name a few: GMP for good manufacturing practice, GLP for good laboratory practice, and GVP for good pharmacovigilance practice. The GXP framework is important for many reasons. It provides an out-of-the-box structure so companies don't have to guess what success looks like for their specific line of industry. In addition to improved product quality and reduced risk of non-compliance, you also gain customer confidence knowing that your products from your company are trustworthy. One particular benefit gained from practicing the GXP is cost optimization, which ultimately leads to savings by reduced waste, rework, and regulatory penalties. Which brings me to the cost of poor quality, the flip side of skipping GXP best practices. Putting a low priority on GXP has significant consequences in terms of the cost savings of poor quality. I have been called upon to assess companies that were found to have suffered everything from tens of thousands of dollars worth of rework, scrap, repeat FDA warning letters, countless amounts of customer complaints, and inevitably customer loss, to flat out long-term brand damage. Proactively addressing quality issues through GXP compliance is essential. When integrated into your company, it significantly reduces risks as well as cost, thereby ensuring the success of your business. So in the long run, this approach will inevitably transform your tightrope walk to a cakewalk. Now, here I have a case study. As many of you may have already know or familiar with, Medtronic. Okay? This is a global leader in medical technology. And it actually adopted the ISO standard for medical device manufacturing traceability to standardize its quality management systems across all products and global operations. So this approach facilitated actually faster market access in various regions, streamlined regulatory submissions, and improved product safety. Medtronic's strong quality system under this ISO standard also fostered better interaction with the regulatory bodies and, resulted in boosting trust and credibility. Now, on the other side, my case study, as you may have already are aware of, a little company called Abbott Laboratories. Uh, it is the leading manufacturing for many things, one of which being infant formula. They experienced a bit of a catastrophic quality assurance failure. Its Sturgis, Michigan plant produced baby formula using faulty equipment and failed to meet industry sanitation standards. The whistleblowers actually reported this with the OSHA, and it ultimately led to the plant's shutdown. Now, the causes of failure is one, inadequate equipment maintenance, two, poor hygiene, and three, deficiencies in internal QA that didn't trigger corrective action. The consequences of this was that formula batches were contaminated with a bacterium that caused severe infections. At least 3 infant deaths were linked to the contaminated formula. The FDA inevitably shut down the facility, which led to a nationwide infant formula shortage. Abbott suffered reputational damage, regulatory fines, and significant market repercussions. The takeaway: failing to practice GXP and quality assessments can lead to consumer harm, regulatory penalties, and a loss of public trust, even for industry leaders. Which leads me to quality assessments. Quality assessments within the manufacturing industry is defined as a systematic process focused on ensuring products meet predefined standards and customer expectations throughout the product lifecycle. Or more simply put, proactive internal checks and evaluations to ensure products meet set standards and customer expectations. Assessments are important because, like GXP, they help companies adhere to regulations as well as increase customer trust and satisfaction. In addition, assessments are also systematic by nature, where the assessor can utilize existing components like SOPs, also known as standard operating procedures, KPIs, also known as key performance indicators, to evaluate. Now, depending upon your company's needs, there is a few options. As you can see on the screen, we first have internal audits, independent evaluations within the organization. They're proactive self-examinations that are crucial for ensuring your processes and procedures are in overall good standing. Not only that, but you're also verifying compliance with current regulations and evaluating whether your processes are effective. This leads to a better quality, customer satisfaction, and overall operational efficiency. Then you have the gap analysis, a process of identifying discrepancies between current practices and future desired goals. It involves comparing the as-is state to your process system to a document or document to the to-be state. This provides you with a realistic picture of how far off the mark you might be from the desired goal and what is required to bridge that gap, which leads to a future state remediation plan. This is actually a great strategic tool for identifying areas for improvement to reach your future goals. So think of it like this. Your internal audit is like your annual checkup with your doctor to ensure your overall health. And your gap analysis is your evaluation with a licensed trainer to evaluate what you need to do to get those six-pack abs. Okay. And then you have supplier assessment, a process by which you would evaluate potential or current suppliers to ensure they meet your specific quality and regulatory operational standards. It focuses on your vendors who supply your raw materials to you and to make sure they are reliable and consistently meet quality standards. Now, this is actually ideal to mitigate risk, optimize cost, and ensure delivery on time, every time. If you have a supply chain, there really is no reason you shouldn't be performing supplier assessments. And for companies with limited bandwidth, the option of reaching out to a third-party service provider like myself, where that person would act on your behalf to evaluate your suppliers, is an ideal strategic move. So the goal is to spot the and solve problems before external issues occur, not after. Now, when structuring a quality assessment plan, several key elements are crucial to ensure compliance and product quality. A well-structured plan will outline a systematic approach to achieve and maintain ideal quality levels and serve as a roadmap for quality strategy, providing a clear framework from problem identification to reporting. So here are the key elements required for structuring an effective plan. Okay. Now you define the scope, which is clearly outlining departments, processes, and specific areas to be assessed. You determine the framework or the time frame and allocate those resources. Then you select the criteria. You establish a clear, direct direction that is aligned with regulatory and industry standards, such as FDA, GXP, ISO, internal policies and procedures, and so forth. Now, tip, when selecting the criteria, make sure you define measurable indicators such as deviations, errors, turnaround time, or compliance percentages. These will help you. Then you conduct the evaluation and document findings. You form a cross-functional assessment team, conduct through methods such as direct observation and interviews. Then you record your findings in a structured format, including the references and classifications. Now, prior to conducting this evaluation, you need to make sure that you involve and assign a cross-functional team with relevant experience. This will help you. You'll save a lot of time and a lot of headache. And then, of course, you recommend actions and follow-up. You develop a clear and actionable recommendations based on your findings, as well as follow-up to ensure actions effectively are addressed at that time. And when documenting those findings, you maintain accurate records. This is very, very essential. For example, references to standards, classifications, major findings, such as major, minor, or critical, because this information will actually be called upon during remediation planning, follow-up, and for future references, especially if you're going to get audited. As the FDA's motto is, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. Now, a few practical and strategic tips to consider when navigating through the planning and conducting the stages of your next assessment. When defining the object and scope, you consider utilizing the standards, such as ISO FDA as a framework. When developing the plan, you identify potential risks and develop alternative audit plans to address them, ensuring the flexibility. Then you can also, when recruiting your cross-functional team, ensure personnel are trained on compliant requirements and the importance of good document practice. And then when assessing, confirm your findings through a method called Gemba walks, which is observing actual work processes on that production floor. Now, by incorporating these guidelines, you can build a comprehensive and effective assessment plan that not only satisfies the regulatory requirements, but also enhances your product quality and ensures your overall success. Okay. Now, when driving continuous improvement in regulatory manufacturing, particularly in industries like medical devices, software used as a medical device, and pharma, demands stringent adherence to quality and safety standards. Continuous improvement methods are vital to meet these requirements while enhancing efficiency and reducing waste, and by default, reducing costs. So here's a few key tools that can help your company today. First, you have Plan, Do, Check, Act, also known as PDCA. It's also known to some individuals, if you are Six Sigma, the Deming cycle. It provides a structured approach for implementing changes and testing their efficiencies before wider adoption. This practical process helps in identifying inefficiencies, optimizing workflows, mitigating risks, and ensuring regulatory compliance. Then you have corrective and preventative actions, known as CAPAs. It is a crucial methodology for addressing nonconformities, uh, deviations, or other undesirable situations. This is actually particularly useful for maintaining product quality, ensuring patient safety, and demonstrating compliance with regulatory requirements from bodies like FDA and ISO. Other tools and techniques for improving tracking are the root cause analysis, which is a methodical approach to identifying the underlying cause of problems or incidents that goes beyond just treating the symptoms, which in turn leads to a much more effective CAPA. Then you have Kaizen events. Kaizen means change for the better. It emphasizes continuous and incremental improvements involving all employees. It's intentionally designed to eliminate waste and make quick turnaround changes in the workplace. Kaizens are actually particularly beneficial when you're looking to tap into fresh ideas on how to solve long-standing problems and improve workplace culture and morale through employee engagement. Think Toyota. Then you have the visual management boards. They are visual cues and displays to communicate information, streamline workflows, and drive performance. It functions as a snapshot of how production is flowing in real time. Visual boards are also particularly great for clarity, transparency, and accountability to facilitate quick decision making. Now, whenever change is involved, you're going to face a few roadblocks, but with change comes change management. A few strategies that you can adopt are highlighting the benefits to stakeholders to gain their buy in and reduce any potential resistance to this change. You can also focus on improvements with the highest impact and the strongest alignment with the company's goals. Those are always great to have. You also can encourage cross-functional collaboration to create platforms for sharing documents and processes best practices. This approach will allow others to feel included and their voice heard during this change. By taking this holistic approach when driving continuous improvement, you can more easily overcome roadblocks and drive positive change within your facility. Now, tying this all together, this brings us to regulatory compliance readiness. It's crucial to meet expectations of notified bodies, particularly in ensuring that documentation and product production are good manufactured practice, also known as CGMP. Having gone over assessments and continuous improvement strategies early in this presentation, meeting the expectations of notified bodies to have solid evidence to substantiate all claims made will be relatively straightforward. So here's a quick guide on documentation do's and don'ts. Do exercise good documentation practice within your quality management system. Ensure that all documents are clear, accurate, and traceable. Do thoroughly review documents for accuracy before sharing them with auditors. That's very important. This proactive approach helps avoid surprises. Don't have uncontrolled printouts, copies, and avoid using whiteout, scratches, or missed dates, like dating something in the future or dating something in the past. on your documents. That sounds like common sense, but many a times I've seen that during audits. So, you know, also some practical compliance tips that you can implement today. Conduct regular training sessions to stay updated with the latest compliance requirements. Schedule proactive assessments to help identify potential issues before they become significant problems. And taking these steps will not only enhance compliance, but also ensure that you are in good standing with notified bodies for the long term. And that's a good thing. Now that we've gone through today's presentation, let's take a moment to recap on what we've discussed. So far, you've discovered that balancing between the customer's expectations and the regulatory body's expectations to achieve form, fit, and function requires a holistic approach built on the foundation of a set of good practices to achieve both compliance and business success. I demonstrated that whether your assessment is structured as an internal audit, gap analysis, supplier audit, or something in between, as long as it's focused on ensuring products meet predefined standards and customer expectations, you'll strongly increase your odds of spotting and solving problems before external forces do. I also showed you the key elements of a well-structured quality assessment plan, along with practical and actionable tips on what you can do today to improve your assessment planning and documentation phases. You've discovered the best methods for driving continuous improvement, along with the best tools and techniques to track and trend changes. And finally, I shared with you the best practices for ensuring regulatory readiness, the do's and don'ts of documentation, and the secret to staying on the FDA's good side. So I asked the audience, was this uh, time worthwhile in this webinar? And can you see yourself doing these things today or possibly in the near future? Any feedback on that? Okay. So
None at
moving
this
forward.
point.
Okay. Okay. So now that I have, final question to the audience, if they should choose to, let's see. Well, I'm sorry. I have a question here by Kristen. Okay. If something to do. All right. Okay, Kristen, I'm gonna read your question out loud so I can make sure I understand it. You say if something doesn't show up as any class on the FDA website, is there any way to be sure that it is not an FDA regulated product? Are you asking in regards to FDA class 1, class 2, class 3, like for medical devices? Is that okay? If something doesn't show up as any class, is there any way to be sure that it's not an FDA reg? If it doesn't show up in the FDA as any particular class, 1, 2, or 3, it's not a regulated product. If you do have a product that you are producing that it doesn't meet any of the qualifications under any class, um, whatever that product typically may be, as long as you have not regulated by the FDA, that little statement that's under certain things, then that should be fine. And there's certain businesses that may not necessarily have registered with the FDA, so that you kind of have to be careful with that if you should be registered with the FDA, but you're not registered with the FDA, it would be advisable to get the direction from the FDA if you are, say, having a discovery product that, like an MVP, for instance, and you want to market and sell that product. If that answers your question. Okay. And let me know if I missed the mark on that. Okay. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. And let me know if there's any further questions about that. I'm more than happy to help you. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So make sure if anyone has any other questions, I'm more than happy to help you. Okay. All right. So now that I have a final question for the audience, considering what you've learned about assessment planning, continuous improvement, good practices, and supporting tools, how likely are you to start implementing the strategies to positively impact your company? Okay. And feel free to answer in the chat or the QA. I'll give you a quick minute on that.
We've got a highly likely.
Okay, excellent. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, okay, I'll just go ahead and continue. All right. So if for Krishna, I appreciate that. Highly likely that's fantastic. You're definitely on the right track to making a substantial impact in your quality. Um, all right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. So moving on. And to anyone who is still pondering if this is something that they're definitely going to do, or if they need more time, or if they feel like there's any particular roadblocks, or if this is kind of like overpowering information that they still kind of have to ruminate a little bit, that's perfectly fine. Um, and I'm more than happy to answer any further questions or go through anything for anyone uh, as they're pondering that question. And also, let's definitely keep the conversation going. And remember, although I have provided with you guys with a lot of amazing information to utilize on your own, working alone is not your only option. Okay. So here you can find my contact information and a special thank you gift for attending. When you scan the QR code on the left, you'll find my contact information, which is also displayed under the same QR code. Additionally, you can find more complimentary supportive resources on my website. And as a token of appreciation for your participation today, when you scan the QR code on the right, you'll receive a quality assessment checklist template to get you started. This will be an invaluable tool in applying what you have learned today. And should you have any further questions, need support or clarification regarding what has been discussed today, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am happy to help. Okay. All right. So here I will kind of hit the pause button for any questions, or if anyone needs me to go back on any particular previous slides that you missed. And of course, don't worry, as the SCORE host has made a statement, these slides will also be sent to any and all attendees. Okay. All right. So definitely let me know if you have any questions. If not, I do thank everyone for attending today, and your participation is truly appreciated, and I'm very grateful for your time. For any personalized support or inquiries, again, feel free to reach out to me at my website displayed below, or email me at my contact information. And for those who are old school and still like the cell phone or the telephone, feel free to contact me via phone. I'm open and available during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. and I look forward to staying connected and supporting your journey. Thank you once again for being here. And I will stop sharing. Okay.
Thanks so much, Cassandra, for talking to us about quality that delivers. So some very valid inputs. I'd like to thank all of you for joining today, and I'll make certain that you get a copy of the presentation. So have a great day, and see you in the future.
Thank you.